Hi and welcome to the weekly salmon fishing update for June 15th. We've got an exciting report for you this week. We have summer Chinook fisheries opening up in the Lac-Saw River, the South Fork Salmon River, and the Upper Salmon River beginning this Saturday. Unfortunately, we also have a closure that we'll cover this week. We'll be closing a section of the lower Clearwater River at the end of fishing hours this coming Sunday. Aside from covering these closures this week, we'll also cover the seasons and rules information for the existing fisheries. We'll take a quick look at dam counts, harvest reports, and hatchery returns from the last week, and we'll wrap things up. I encourage you to check out the blogs that were recently posted by Joe DuPont, our regional fisheries manager up in the Clearwater region, as well as the one posted by Jordan Messner, our regional fisheries manager in McCall. That's it for this week's introduction. We've got a lot of information to cover, so let's get to the report.
This weekly salmon fishing update contains information for Chinook salmon fisheries in the Mainstem Clearwater River, the Middle Fork Clearwater River, the South Fork Clearwater River, the North Fork Clearwater River, the Lower Salmon River, the Little Salmon River, the Snake River, the Lac-Saw River, the South Fork Salmon River, and the Upper Salmon River. Any areas that are not covered in this weekly salmon fishing update remain closed to fishing for Chinook salmon. I encourage you to check out the Idaho Fish and Game website for additional information about seasons and rules for the existing fisheries. We'll start this week's update with the closure that's going to be occurring on the Mainstem Clearwater River. The section from the Camas Prairie Railroad Bridge upstream to the Cherrylane Bridge will close at the end of fishing hours on Sunday, June 19th. The remainder of the Mainstem Clearwater River from the Cherrylane Bridge upstream to the mouth of the South Fork Clearwater remains open to Chinook salmon fishing. There are no other closures that we will need to cover for this week's fisheries. The Mainstem Clearwater River, the South Fork Clearwater River, and the Middle Fork Clearwater River are all open to Chinook salmon fishing. Fishing is allowed 7 days per week, and fishing hours are from 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Time. The daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only one of which may be an adult, and the possession limit is 12 salmon, only 3 of which may be adults. As I mentioned earlier, the Mainstem Clearwater River has a partial closure that will go into effect at the end of fishing hours on Sunday, June 19th. The fishery is currently open from the Railroad Bridge at Lewiston upstream to the confluence of the Middle Fork and South Fork Clearwater Rivers. Beginning on Monday, the 20th of June, the fishery will be open from the Cherrylane Bridge upstream to the confluence of the Middle Fork and South Fork Clearwater Rivers. The South Fork Clearwater River is open from the mouth upstream to the confluence of the American and Red Rivers. The Middle Fork Clearwater River is open from the mouth upstream to the confluence of the Selway and Lac-Saw Rivers. The North Fork Clearwater River is open to fishing for Chinook salmon 4 days per week, Thursday through Sunday. Fishing hours are from 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Time, and the daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only one of which may be an adult. The possession limit is 12 salmon, only 3 of which may be adults. The North Fork Clearwater River is open from the mouth upstream to Dworshak Dam. Please refer to the Idaho Fish and Game website for special restrictions for areas within this fishery. The Lower Salmon River is open to fishing for Chinook salmon 7 days per week. Fishing hours are from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Time or 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Time. The daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only 2 of which may be adults, and the possession limit is 12 salmon, only 6 of which may be adults. Just a reminder, the section of the Lower Salmon River from the Rice Creek Bridge upstream to the boat ramp at Hammer Creek closed to fishing for Chinook salmon on June 2nd. The fishery is currently open from the Hammer Creek boat ramp upstream to the uppermost boat ramp at Vinegar Creek. The Little Salmon River is open to Chinook salmon fishing 7 days per week. Fishing hours are from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Time. The daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only 2 of which may be adults, and the possession limit is 12 salmon, only 6 of which may be adults. The Little Salmon River is open from the mouth upstream to the U.S. Highway 95 bridge near Smoky Boulder Road. Lastly, the Snake River is open to fishing for Chinook salmon 7 days per week. Fishing hours are from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Time. The daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only 1 of which may be an adult, and the possession limit is 12 salmon, only 3 of which may be adults. The Snake River is open from the Dug Bar boat ramp upstream to Hells Canyon Dam. Well, that's it for the spring Chinook fisheries. I'm excited to announce that yesterday our commission approved the summer Chinook salmon seasons on the Lochsaw River, the South Fork Salmon River, and the Upper Salmon River. Those fisheries will open this coming Saturday, June 18th. The Lochsaw River will open to Chinook salmon fishing on Saturday, June 18th. Fishing will be allowed 7 days per week, and the fishing hours are from 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Time. The daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only 2 of which may be adults, and the possession limit is 12 salmon, only 6 of which may be adults. Both adipose clipped and unclipped adults and jacks may be kept in the Lochsaw River Chinook fishery. The fishery will be open from the Lowell Bridge upstream to the Twin Bridges near the confluence of Colt-Killed and Crooked Fork creeks. The South Fork Salmon River will open to Chinook salmon fishing on Saturday, June 18th. Fishing will be allowed 7 days per week from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Time. The daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only 2 of which may be adults, and the possession limit is 12 salmon, only 6 of which may be adults. Please note there's a new boundary for the fishery this year. The fishery will be open from the posted boundary at the Jakey Creek Bridge upstream to the posted boundary approximately 100 yards downstream of the South Fork Salmon River Trap and Weir. If you want to get more information about this, please check out the IDFG website and also the blog that was recently posted by Jordan Messner, our McCall Region Fisheries Manager. The Upper Salmon River will open to Chinook salmon fishing on Saturday, June 18th. Fishing will be allowed 7 days per week from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Time, and the daily bag limit is 4 salmon, only 2 of which may be adults. The possession limit is 12 salmon, only 6 of which may be adults. The fishery will be open from the posted boundary just upstream of the confluence with the North Fork Salmon River, upstream to the posted boundary approximately 100 yards below the Sawtooth Hatchery Weir. Now that we've covered the seasons and rules information for the current and upcoming fisheries, I wanted to provide a run update with the dam counts down at Bonneville and Lower Granite Dam. You can see that things are really tapering off at both of these dams over the last week. Part of this has been driven by the extremely high water that's been flowing out of the Snake River and also through the Columbia. But total to date in 2022 down at Bonneville, we're at 170,000, which is twice the number that we saw at this time last year, and almost twice the 5-year average. Up at Lower Granite Dam, again, things are really being hindered by the amount of water flowing through the Snake. Total to date right now, 57,119 adults, which is 2 times higher than what we saw last year and almost 2 times higher than the 5-year average to date. Again, these counts are going to just trickle down over the next couple of weeks. We won't see a whole lot of additional fish on their way to Idaho, passing both Bonneville and Lower Granite after about the early part of July. Taking a look at harvest updates in the Clearwater River drainage, certainly had some dangerously high water that occurred during the last week throughout sections of these fisheries, and many of the catch rates reflect that. In the Mainstem Clearwater below the Cherrylane Bridge, we only estimated 28 clipped adults were harvested, and very little effort was observed there due to the high water that occurred. The river is supposed to drop this week, and with the closure for that section being implemented on Sunday, we do expect to pick up some additional harvest as that river comes into shape this week. The hot fishing was a little further upriver from the Cherrylane Bridge to Orofino Bridge. We had some pretty good catch rates there, estimated 289 adults harvested. 209 harvested in the North Fork Clearwater, and then a handful of fish upriver from there. The weekly total last week was 619, bringing the season total to 3146. We do have a harvest share expected to be around 5,200 for this fishery, and so you can see we've got a couple thousand fish left to harvest, and hopefully we'll start to accumulate some of that harvest in sections further upriver. We've still not documented any harvest in the South Fork Clearwater River to date. In the Lower Salmon River, high water definitely kept our catch rates and harvest down this last interval. As a reminder, the Rice Creek Bridge to Hammer Creek section was closed, so that's why there's no documented harvest or effort in that section of the fishery. From Hammer Creek upstream to Time Zone Bridge, estimated 75 adults harvested, and then 36 in the area around Riggins from Time Zone Bridge up to Shorts Creek. Our weekly total was 111, bringing our season total to 1,115 fish harvested in the Lower Salmon. We do have several hundred fish remaining in the harvest share for this fishery. But with the river dropping this coming week and weekend, I do expect harvest to pick up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see additional closures coming for the lower Salmon River sometime next week. In the Little Salmon River, we only documented 66 adults that were harvested last week, bringing our season total up to 182. We've got a long way to go on the harvest share for the Little Salmon River. The big problem has been high water in that fishery, as well as really kept people from getting out and also having any success. So as flows drop within the next week or two, I expect the fishing in the Little Salmon River to get good, and we'll start to accumulate harvest there. And lastly, in the Snake River, we documented a few more jacks harvested last week, 21 during the last interval, bringing our season total up to 55. Again, we don't expect to have adults coming back to Hell's Canyon Dam this year, so it's not surprising that we aren't seeing any adult harvest in that fishery. But anglers are getting out. Catch rates are actually pretty good, around 7 to 10 hours per fish. So for those wanting a different experience, head on down below Hell's Canyon Dam and check out that fishery. Taking a look at hatchery returns at Rapid River Fish Hatchery, we continue to just kind of trickle along, getting anywhere from 20 to 50 some adults every couple of days. Again, high water is really keeping these fish from moving much, both in the lower Salmon River and in the Little Salmon River. So I expect that we're not going to see any really big counts at Rapid River until flows drop. But we are getting a fair number of fish, and so far we have a total of 514 adults that we've trapped for broodstock so far this year. So we're on our way, but still have a long way to go with trapping at Rapid River. I'll continue to provide updates there, as well as for the traps in the Clearwater Basin. But high water has precluded us being able to install traps in the Clearwater so far this year. Well, that's it for this week's update. We covered a ton of information there, and that's a testament to the amount of opportunity that we currently have for Chinook fisheries in Idaho. We're certainly experiencing a good year right now. It's fun to have fisheries for both spring Chinook and summer Chinook that are ongoing at the same time. I encourage you to get out and enjoy the resource. Be safe, respect your fellow anglers, and make sure you're having some fun. Good luck this weekend.